And of course, Josh is here. Of course. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? My goodness, it's been a little while, hasn't it, since we've all been together. I'm gonna just kind of chat with you guys while YouTube is letting everybody know that we're here, that I'm here, that we're all finally getting back together. Hold on, I'm gonna just kind of adjust that down a little bit. I want to just work on my frame here. I think that's okay. Hi, everybody who's here. I know Josh is here, who always has a question for me about what I'm driving these days. Oh, I just had a light go out. I guess that probably doesn't matter. Hold on here. Let's see, and it's back on. Hey, Max. Hey, Julianne. Hey, Josh. WWE Motors is here. Hello from Kuwait, Fawaz. How wonderful. Psycho Orange is here. Andrew is here. Kwame is here. Samarosco. I got that right. Marlon is here. Mike Morse. Hello. Blaine. Eric. Madiak 1980. Hello, everybody. Oh, my goodness. So, and Laura's here. Hi, Laura and Mohammed. I love this. I love this. Oh, Peru is in the house. Hello. Hello from Cali. Hi, you guys. I don't know why this keeps going out. Hold on. I'm going to turn this back on. I must have a funny little something. I may adjust that during this, and I may just ignore it. I don't know. If I come back to Atlanta, Marlon will be there. Well, that's great. Yes, I imagine I will be back in Atlanta at some point this year. I'm just starting to put my schedule together. Hey, everybody. Happy New Year. It's storming on the Oregon coast. I know. Oh, Happy New Year from Hawaii and Arizona. The YouTubes, it's January, but April is here. I love that. Okay, it looks like for some reason, I don't know why, this light is not working. I'm going to just touch it a little bit and play with that and see if that helps a little bit. As an actress, you always want to make sure you are in your light. And it looks like we're okay. And if it goes out, it goes out. That's just life doing itself. So hi, everybody. I love this. Sweden's in the house. Well, the light went out, so we're just going to be doing it without the light. But here, I think what we can do is add a little bit of this, and then that adds a little light. Is that right? A little light? No, that's a little better light. We're just going to do that. Screw it. All right. Hi. That's too much. I'm not really good at this stuff. Yeah, this just helps with the lighting a little bit. There we go. That just gives it a little more light. Hi, welcome to my life. It's all about lighting. Not true, but also anybody who has been at a Comic-Con with me or anywhere and has asked me to take a picture with them, what I always do is I try to put us in the best light so that we can be seen. And thank you for everybody who's playing along with the whole lighting ridiculousness of what's going on right now. Okay, so I want to say thanks to Josh, who said, are you going to be doing a Wake Up Wednesday starting in the beginning of the year? And I think about you guys a lot, and I really do love doing these. But sometimes I need a little bit of prodding because, putting yourself out there is always a little bit challenging. And you'd think, well, you're an actress. It just comes natural for you to put yourself out there. But that's not true. especially when I'm really sharing my heart versus, oh, this is what I'm doing next. This is the next project that I'm working on. You can kind of hide behind all that. But when I'm just talking to you guys here and it's a Wake Up Wednesday, or sometimes it's a Thursday or a Friday, um, then I'm really sharing myself with you guys. And, that's not always so easy for me to do because I am. I always thought I was an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert, and then somebody said, "No, you're a multivert or a polyvert or something like that." I am really good connecting with people and talking to people, and I also want to run for the hills and go rejuvenate in solitude. So I'm a little of everything. But thank you to Josh who said, "Come on, let's do this," and because I've been thinking a lot about what do I want to do in 2023, which to me is a really, I love that. Aaron's a multivert. Yes. I This is a big year for me. I'm flipping. It's a big birthday, and I kind of feel like I've been writing a lot about it. Like I do. I wouldn't say I do New Year's resolutions. Somebody just asked that question. Do I do them? I set intentions, and I really do try to follow them, and I try to track them through the year. I write them down. Hey, TKD Bar, good to see you. Um, and because I want to follow through, and I want to see how I'm doing, and I want to see how successful this resolution is. And then sometimes, it's even like, I think we can let that, my shirt's falling off. We can let that go. We can, either that's not as important as I thought it was. Maybe we hit it. Maybe we need to switch it up. Maybe I had too many and I need to focus a little more. Anyway, so that's one thing about this year. The other thing is that I really feel like every new year is a clean slate. Like I get a full, I don't want to say do-over, but I get an opportunity to really reset how I'm going to do my life. That's one of the things I love about it. Like it just feels special to me. Like it's such a special time of year, and that I get this opportunity. I give this opportunity to myself. And it's sort of like new year, new life. And I love that because I think that that is what creativity and reinvention and creation is all about. And so it's like, what do I want to do in this year? And so I see this year for me as the halfway point in my life. I think I'm going to go past 100 to 110, 120. I hear meowing. I have a kitten who is constantly getting into trouble. Sometimes she has to be rescued because she gets into precarious places. Anyway, so I feel like I'm at the halfway point in my life, and I'm trying to decide and have real clarity around what is moving ahead with me and what is not. And I realize that I have to build some muscles this year. I have to build some muscles physically. As you get older, it's really important to maintain your muscles. You maintain your stamina. I maintain my balance, my equilibrium. I see examples all around me at that move it or lose it is a real thing. I'm watching it with somebody very close in my family who has lost it and is no longer mobile, and what that's been like for them, and how traumatic that is, and how it was a choice. And that I think is something that's been hard to look at, but also incredibly illuminating. That I have a choice in how I do this, which really brought me to a thought and that I want to share with you guys because I also think that this is something that we will probably want to explore together this year. And the thought is that I am the architect for my life. You are the architect for your life. If your brain starts to scream, like just say that to yourself. Just say, I am the architect of my life, for my life. Like, does that feel real? Does that make you want to scream? Do you want to just start launching reasons why that's not true? Or does that make you feel really, really excited and like, yeah, I am the architect. I get to decide what happens. Because it's kind of like driving down a highway. If you take exit 24, you're going to go and you're going to land in that town. If you stay on the highway and you don't get off for 30 miles and then you take exit 107, you're going to go someplace else. It's where you focused your energy. It's where you're driving your car. It's where you're intending to go. And if you don't believe, if I don't believe that I am the architect and I am the one who is setting my life on a certain course, then I'm going to get a really janky experience. So like one question that's really valuable to ask yourself if you want to play along with me is, do I believe that I'm the architect of my life? And if the answer to that is no, then that's where the work lies, potentially, for you this year. I know that I believe that I am the architect of my life, and on certain subjects, I'm a little, I don't know if I'm really the architect in that department. I know I'm the architect in this department, but I don't know about that one. I'm a little, oh, that's a sign that I need to take my power back in that part of my life. That I need to create a new agreement with myself about that. It generally also, I find it has something to do with what have I been choosing to believe. If I have some really disempowering beliefs about certain areas of my life, then I need to go in there. I need to look at them. I need to get really honest with myself and say, is this a belief that I want to continue? Like, if my life is a garden, do I want to keep watering this belief? Because whatever I water is going to grow, whatever I feed is going to grow. And that may keep me from becoming the person that I intend to be, that it keeps me from living the life that I absolutely intend to live and have the experiences that I want to experience. And one of the wonderful things, and I mean wonderful things about getting older, is that I have so much context. I have so many experiences and uh, so much history with myself and with life that I I have perspective that is uniquely different from the perspective that I had at 40, at 30, at 20. Like I have paid attention my whole life to my life. I've always been a seeker. I've always been somebody who has endeavored to grow and expand and learn. I have an insatiable curiosity. I'm always learning something new. I'm always interested in improving because I've been lucky enough to have some really wonderful experiences in my life. I want more of those. I want to give those to myself, or at least open the door and keep the path open so that they can reach me. Because a lot of times, just amazing things, when you kind of get into flow with life, amazing things start to happen. It's thrilling. Aren't the best things the things that you never saw coming? Like, of the good things, not necessarily the bad things, but the things that you didn't see it happening. You didn't know it was gonna happen. Just a tiny one. It happened to my daughter this Christmas. My children were supposed to fly to visit from Los Angeles to Nashville, and their flight on Christmas Eve was canceled. And because they had booked last minute, they were surprising me. It was the greatest gift, even though they weren't able to make it here. It was an amazing gift. So the airline that they chose, because flights were so expensive, was one that was a super economy air a flight, and they were not going to be rebooking until the 29th of January. So we were all really bummed, but I was still just so grateful that was like their gift. They were going to surprise me. I miss them so much. It's hard to be apart from them. I love my children more than I can say. And so I just said, I one of the things that I'm building into the second half of my life and into this next year in 2023, I'm building the muscle of believing in divine timing. And so my daughter and son couldn't come. Well, my daughter calls me a couple of days later and says, I'm going to be in Nashville tonight. She is a stylist. She was working with another stylist who was dressing people for a TV special. It was different musical artists. And she was going to be traveling from Los Angeles to Nashville with literally 500 pounds of wardrobe to do these fittings. Had she made it to Nashville, she would not have been able to do this job. She really wanted to do this job. This was a really fun job for her. It was stressful and challenging, but really fun. And it really showed, I said, this is divine timing, Grace. We still got a chance to see each other. It was brief, but it was wonderful. And we both saw how divine timing works for us, how it was absolutely working in her life, because she really wanted to get the year started with work and movement, and bam, it showed up, and it came in a way that neither of us anticipated. So divine timing is one of the things that I want to build this year. It's also just finding the places where I would have a better life with a stronger muscle. So part of it for me is I am working on building a morning routine. So I study best practices of people, like who are some of the most successful people on the planet, and they tend to have very specific morning practices. Well, I have been an actor my entire adult life. Unless I am physically shooting something or have places that I absolutely must be, say I'm doing a Comic-Con or something like that, or if I'm doing a movie, or if I'm doing a TV show or something, then my time is really, really scheduled. Otherwise, I am in charge of my time. I have projects that I'm working on. I have things that I want to do, but I don't have the habit of getting up in the morning and getting really focused. I tend to love to putter. I tend to love to read and meditate and write, and all of that is great. But if I don't schedule it early in the morning, my day goes off the rails. And so I'm building the muscle for a morning routine. Well, what I can tell you is that there's a part of my mind that absolutely hates this idea of doing this morning routine, because it wants to stay up late, it wants to sleep in, it wants to, when it gets a good idea, it wants to squirrel over there and go, play and doing that, or suddenly it's like, oh, remember you got to do that thing. and it undoes my whole morning and my focus. So I am really planning on taking myself in hand gently and lovingly and sitting myself back down and building the muscle for this new behavior. I'm also going to be taking on some things that I don't love to do. I must learn how to edit this year. I need to learn more about some of the projects that I'm working on that are the more technical aspects that are not my favorite thing. It's not really my jam. But if I want to achieve this thing, if I want to learn this thing, then I'm going to have to sit with myself. I'm going to have to master myself. I'm going to have to build the muscle for it. So the challenge is that a lot of times when people make New Year's resolutions or set those intentions, me, you, we get sidetracked because our brain, our mind says, hell no, I'm used to doing this. I'm not going to be following that program past or that plan past a day or two, and now I'm not doing it, which for me makes me feel really bad about myself because I want to learn new things. I have a vision of success for myself that is pretty big, and I am not going to get there if I'm not willing to put in the work. And what that means at the sort of the bottom of it is that I'm going to have to change the way that I think and my brain chemistry so that I can achieve these things. There's a wonderful book by somebody that I study meditation with. I've mentioned him before. I'm going to mention him again. His name, is Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's written several books, but one book that I would recommend to anybody is called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And there's another little part under it, and I'm trying to remember what it is. It's like breaking the habit of being yourself, losing your mind so you can create a new one, something like that. That's sort of the small print below the title. And it's a book for people who enjoy learning the mechanics of how you create and build a better brain, a new neurochemistry, so that you can have the life that you want, because it doesn't just happen, and it definitely takes some work and some focus. And I'll do a link in the notes, and if anybody wants to find the book on Amazon or find out what he's doing, I find the work that I've done with him is absolutely profound. His work is being studied by the University of San Diego, by Bonn University. He's had amazing things that are happening that are actually quite astonishing. And he is somebody that I really have enjoyed deep diving into work with, because it's really profoundly changed my life and how what I believe is possible, and of what I can achieve. And there's this belief a lot of times that as you get older, as you get on in the years, like first of all, that life starts to diminish, and that you're not as valuable as you used to be. You don't have as many opportunities as you used to have, and that what was the other thought? And that you're kind of stuck with who you are. Like this, have you ever had that conversation with somebody and you're talking to somebody and like you're maybe bringing up something that they do that maybe you don't love so much, and they're like, well, this is me. This is just who I am. Love it or leave it. And that's fine if it's a characteristic about yourself that you love. maybe other people don't really particularly appreciate, but you love it, so keep it. But if it's a part of you that you don't love, that's been a little bit of an albatross and a pain in your ass and something that you know is actually one of your character flaws, then you have the opportunity, I have the opportunity to change that. I'm going to be the person who literally on my deathbed, I will be, first of all, probably still laughing, learning, and I kind of, I've told you guys before, I have like the deathbed scenario of like when I'm on my deathbed, I want to just be going, oh my God, it was so great. I loved it. I loved it. I lived my life to the fullest. This was amazing. Bam, gone. Even if that happens next week, I still intend for that because I've lived a really great life. Not because of success and fame, not because of things that have happened, but because of how I've chosen to live within those circumstances. I know a lot of people who are rich and famous and successful, and they're fucking miserable. They have no joy. They're just in a grind, whether they're in the world of entertainment or in the world of finance or in the, any person who's successful. You can be successful and happy, or you can be successful and miserable. And which also, subject for another day, what is success? Is that something that you define or somebody else defines for you? And so one of the things that I'm do to help myself as I'm building these muscles, because there's a couple things, I'll just tell you a little bit about it. I wake up, I have some coffee. I drink, before that, I drink a glass of lemon water. Then I have some coffee and I start sitting down to do the next part of my morning, which is I read, I write, I meditate, and then I move my body. That's a huge one, getting all of those in, hopefully in 2 hours. Sometimes I have to allot 3 hours. I'm going to try to be waking up a little bit earlier. Each week, I have some assistance around me. My husband is doing this as well. We are accountability partners for each other. I have something called Habit Nest that I am working with that helps you create a morning program. And I'm doing things to remind myself when it gets hard. And I'm only on day 3? And yesterday was really challenging because my husband had to leave at 4 o'clock in the morning and I like to get up. I'm that kind of wife. I'm going to get up with you and I'm going to cook you breakfast before you leave. And I'm going to love you out the door. And plus we really enjoy each other so much. So we just want to spend as much time with each other doing that. And so it kind of messed up my morning and I was going to go back to bed and my day got a little off, but I have an agreement with myself. And this is one of like the keys to how I know I'm going to be successful with this. I'm going to love myself unconditionally, even when day 2 went sideways, because I'm going to get back up on that horse. I'm going to keep doing it. I am going to learn this. I'm going to rewire my brain so that this just becomes a habit. I wake up every morning and I brush my teeth. It's a habit. I don't have to think about it. It feels weird, actually, if I don't do it. I drink water in the morning. If I don't do that, it feels weird. There's certain things that I do. I want these habits. If I don't move my body every day, I want that to feel weird. And one of the things that I did is because I didn't get a workout in at the time I wanted to. And my workouts, I set a timer. It's 10 minutes to a half an hour. So last night before bed, I stretched my body. That counted. I'm really trying to set this up so it works for me. But one of the things that I do is, and I know I'm almost at 30 minutes, is I inspire myself every day so that I can remember why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. And I found that I have to be a self-generating inspiration pool, because we want other people to inspire us and we want other people to encourage us and we want people to help us along. And it would be so much easier if that happened. But the truth is, you are in this, on your own, even though I'm lucky. My husband and I are accountability partners for each other. And I have people in my life who are supports. And I recommend reach out to people, say, I'm trying to work on this thing. Can I check in with you and just let you know how I'm doing? Because I might do it if I have to text someone and say, hey, I did that thing, that hard thing that I said I wasn't going to do, or I said I was going to do, and I actually did it. Instead of weaseling out of it, nobody will know. But I inspire myself every day. I have a Pinterest board that has images of my mind, body, and spirit, of what that's going to look like, of where I'm aiming. I write it down the night before. I write stuff down in the morning, and I'm constantly inspiring myself and looking for other places to be inspired. And that's incredibly important, because it's really easy to get into the slog of life and forget that you're aiming for something, especially like I imagine March, it's January, it's fresh, it's new, there's this new thing. Well, maybe by March I'll be running out of steam and I'll be like, oh. So I'm gonna go back in and look at these images, and also it's really important to I spend time in the land of make believe, like I'm 5. It's part of why I became an actress, because I love making pretend. And so when I'm heading towards a goal and I'm not sure how I'm going to get there, I've learned that it doesn't really matter how I get there, because the most important thing is, why do I want this goal? And what is this goal going to give me? Like, what do I expect to feel like? So we'll just take a little one, not a little, but I'm building literal muscle this year. I'm building a stronger core. I'm building stronger arms. I'm working on the shoulders, the back, the legs. There are certain milestones they say, like if you can get up from a sitting position on the ground without using your hands, it's an actual marker on how you're aging. And if you can't do that, you're in trouble. You got to start practicing getting up without using your hands. And I try to do it every day. And there are certain things that I know that I must do in order to reach this goal. And so I sit with my eyes closed, or when I'm walking, or when I'm in the shower, or falling asleep at night, and I imagine what it feels like to be in this healthy, strong body. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How do my clothes feel? In the last several years, I have probably put on about 10 pounds. It's come, it's gone. I need to keep that off. Why? Because I've learned in all the studying that I've done that the healthiest people aren't carrying around extra weight. It has everything to do with pressure on your joints and your muscles and your heart, your bloodstream, your gut health. I mean, it just, and we saw it during COVID, not having, having the healthiest body that's possible. And that looks different for every person. This is just my measure of what I do. Your measure is going to be totally different. And that's awesome. That's the whole point of all of this. What works for you? What makes your life better? What is your vision for what your healthy, abundant, expanded, successful life looks like? Um, uh, and you guys, you're also smart. I love going back and reading the comments. So it's going to look different for everybody. And so I practice, what is that going to feel like? Um, we're at 35 minutes. Thank you for everybody who's hanging in there. I know that this is going long, but this is just kind of the first one of the year. And I'm thinking we'll probably revisit some of these and maybe work on some of this stuff together. If you guys are wanting to create some real changes in your life this year, or wanting to sort of let go of some things and build some new muscles. And so building muscle is really the metaphor. And so I spend some time in my mind thinking, what would my life look like? What would it feel like with this in it, with one of those objectives fulfilled? And then I go and live there. Like, I spend time making pretend. I spend time in this belief, because so many studies show that's how you create stuff. And everything that has been created in the universe, made by a person, you know, this bowl, which I love my bowls. Okay, this bowl started out as somebody's idea. They had the idea and then they took the action. It didn't just come out of space, it came out of an idea. And they said, oh, well, let's do a block of wood and put some felt around it. Bam. Oh, what tone should this be? Because usually every bowl is connected to a frequency, usually connected to your chakra system. I'm not quite sure what that one is. I feel like it's a little higher up. I feel like it's throat, or could be around the throat. Anyway, off topic. Squirrel. So anyway, I am building muscles this year. I invite you to join me and build muscles too. Let's build the kind of lives that we want. It's so much friendlier when you're doing it with other people. I'm a big fan of everybody wins. I want to see everybody be successful. I want to see everybody live their purpose and live their dreams and live the life that they believe is there, that that they want, and then they draw it to them. You are, it's the old, you are what your thoughts are. You are attracting what you believe in. You can only get a radio station that you are dialing into that frequency. And so it means minding your energy, I'm constantly considering, what am I putting out here? What am I listening to? What am I paying attention to? Where am I focusing energy? Where attention goes, energy goes. And so, or energy flows. And I know that I am only going to get to the places that I'm seeking by my intended focus. And sometimes I'm not very focused. Sometimes I'm really super squirrely, distracted, caving in on myself, not feeling like it, exhausted. Any excuse that I can use, I generally tend to use. And I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing it. Now, this may not be true on all subjects in my life, but there are certain ones that I have chosen are absolute priorities this year, and I will master these. The end. And so I think about, like, what would that feel like, being in that space and being in that place? And it's done. And that feels really good. And even if I fuck up, and even if I don't, I face plant and everything, I have an agreement with myself about this year. We're going to just get back up. We're just going to use it as evidence. And every time my brain starts to scream and says, I don't want to do this, I don't want to get up right now, I don't want to go to bed early, I don't want to focus on this thing, I know that is evidence, because I have studied it. That is evidence that my brain is already changing. So that's what's going on with me right now. I am dying to hear what's going on with you guys. Let me know. Oh gosh. Okay. So maybe what we should do, I'm trying to figure out how many times I'm going to do this in a month. If it's going to be every week, which kind of feels like a lot to me, or if it's twice a month. Part of me loves to go live. Part of me goes, be sort of an interesting experiment to also, for me, since I have to learn how to edit, to record something and then add stuff to it because I do need to work on that. But I would love to know, where are you guys? What's going on with you? Please drop some. I love this. Daniel is finishing 3 films at once. Way to go. I would love to know where you are, and if there are certain things, anything today that I've talked about, things that you're thinking about, that it's on your mind, that you would like to discuss. I think that we are building a beautiful community here. I love, love, love you guys. I love how bright and brilliant and smart and kind you are to each other. You're just incredibly kind and loving, and the time that you spend with me, it just means the world to me. You have no idea. Like, I know how busy we all are, and I know how scattered we can all be, and I want to just create as many spaces as I can for people to feel loved and included and heard, and where we can grow together and we can learn, where we can just learn. And because I think that it's a wonderful time to connect at a time when people are really having a hard time connecting, feeling disconnected, feeling polarized, feeling unseen, unheard, misunderstood. May this be a place where we all find connection and understanding, and we don't have to agree. We don't have to, we just could agree to find commonality and find places that that we do connect, because I think at the heart, in the heart, that we are more alike each other than we are different, because we are all human, and that is a beautiful thing. And I love you guys. And drop a comment below, please. If you'd like to, go ahead and subscribe. Like, I know I'm supposed to say all this stuff. Subscribe, like, turn on notifications. I guess when people like it, it helps the algorithm. I know that I don't probably do any of the things that you're supposed to do, and I am okay with that, because I feel like I will learn, and I will decide which things feel right for me and which things don't. But in the meantime, I love you guys so much, and I'm so grateful that you're here and that we got a chance to hang out with each other. I'm going to sign off. 42 minutes. I think this is the longest one I've done in a long time. I just love seeing these. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love you so much, and have a wonderful rest of the day and the week and the month. And think about, are you the architect of your life? And if you have a hard time answering that, which is so cool and okay, go, what would it look like if I was? And what would that feel like? And play with that. That's how you grow. All right, you guys, I love you. Mwah.